Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Weight and Fat Loss Summit for Busy Professionals. I am Walter Lewis, your fitness coach, and today we have a very special guest, Dr. Megan Maselli, who is health educator and a middle school language arts specialist at Fairfax, well, for all of Fairfax County
Mhm.
schools. She has many titles. She's the university supervisor at George Mason University. She's a fitness instructor. She's a mom of two kids, right?
Yep, 2 of
And
'em.
yes, and so she's here today and she's going to be discussing the effects of health, fitness, and stress on job satisfaction. So
Mm,
how you doing, Meg?
mhm. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to talk to you and, all the great people that you work with.
Awesome. Well, I thought you would be great for this topic because I train a lot of busy professionals, as you know,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are stressed out about their jobs. A lot of them hate their jobs.
Yep.
Um, and so I wanted to talk more about, I guess, from the basis of I can't tell people to quit their jobs. So I figured you can maybe talk about a way how they can reverse uh, how they think about their jobs and become more satisfied, or if not satisfied, operate at a high level while
Right.
they don't like their jobs. So, how can someone who's under continuous stress,
Oof.
having difficulty fitting exercise into their work schedule,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
deal with all of these things, with all of this stress and not satisfied with their jobs? How can they go in their jobs and not hate it, but yeah, not hate it, but
Yeah,
perform under those conditions?
absolutely. It's such an important topic, and I think it's a topic that a lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to or maybe take for granted. As somebody who has 15 jobs, I feel like I have a lot of jobs. It None of them are absolutely perfect for me in isolation. So, just to use myself as an example briefly, about 8 or 9 years ago, I thought I was miserable in my current job, which I was, and I thought I'm jumping ship. I'm just changing course. I live once, let's try this out. And something that I was doing on the side that I absolutely loved was fitness. And I thought, let's try to do this full time. And what I found for me was that when I changed over to doing fitness full time, and it's different for everyone, I know you did the same thing and it was the perfect decision for you. For me, it was draining and it stopped becoming my favorite thing to do throughout the day. So, what I found with having so many jobs, well, there's definitely stress to having multiple positions or multiple places to work. Um, Having fitness is that part time, that little thing on the side has been awesome for me because while during my 9 to 5, it may not be all smiles and rainbows every single moment of the day, I have that extra something on the side that I really enjoy. And I think I really enjoy it because it's only there sometimes. It's not my all day long. It's just that one little thing on the side. So something to consider for people who are really unhappy with their 9 to 5 is what's going on outside of that 9 to 5. Oftentimes there's something else going on in our lives, whether it be a relationship, whether it's health stress, whether it's monetary stress that bleeds over into everything else. So while our job itself may be just fine, you may be less satisfied with it or more stressed out about it because of outside factors. So, taking an opportunity to really examine what might be the cause of stress in your life. For some of us, it will actually be that job. Maybe you have a very difficult boss or you have very inflexible work hours. And those are really important things to address. But for others, it's going to be that chance to sit down and really examine. Um, what am I doing with my life? Who is in my life? And are all of the people and things that I'm including that I have a choice over? Because obviously there are things that are limited in our choices. Out of all of those things that I have choices over, are there areas of negativity that I could eliminate? Are there people that maybe don't lift me up? Are there relationships that maybe have served their purpose and now can move on, that are kind of bleeding over into my unhappiness or stress at work? I also ask people to really think of their long-term life goals and how their current job is serving those. So if you were to think of the magical time that I think we all believe in, the retirement, whenever that comes, retirement, what
Right.
what are your goals for that? And is your current position serving those goals? Um, and also remembering that it's not the destination, it's the journey. So maybe your goal in retirement is to be able to travel, or to move somewhere warm, or to uh, move closer to family or friends, something like that. If you are miserable throughout the entire journey to get there, the reality of life is we may not get there. Who knows what tomorrow holds? Who knows what the next week holds? So taking account of the journey that you are on and what's worth it for your long-term planning. And the last thing I would say for that overall just analysis of where you are is to try to eliminate that mindset of sunken cost. When I went into my doctoral program, I made it about, I would say, halfway through, and then I was just like, I'm done. I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm miserable. But I got into the sunken cost mindset of, I've spent X amount of money on this coursework. I've spent X amount of time. I've taken this time away from my husband, my friends, and so forth. It's too late now. I can't turn back. And I think we often get into that sunken cost mindset when it comes to work as well. So if you've maybe been in a position with a company for a long time and you think, well, I can't possibly consider shifting roles or shifting companies or shifting positions, you might be in that sunken cost mindset. You might be thinking, it's not worth it. I've put in my 10 years, my 15 years, my 20 years, when in reality, going back to that, it's about the journey, not the destination. Um, what is going to serve you now, and what is going to serve those long-term goals? Because not to sound not to sound sad or morbid, but you've got today, you've got this week. Just keeping in mind the reality of our 9 to 5 is that's how we're spending the majority of our lives in this day and age, and making sure that it's something that you don't dread waking up and going to.
Right. I want to go back to what you mentioned. I think
Please.
they were great tips about as far as what's going on outside of your job.
Oh yeah.
But let's just say, if things are outside of the job, when people leave the job, things are going great. They're just going lovely. It's like heaven
Absolutely.
after they leave the job.
Yep.
So from 9 to 5, or whether it's nine to
What
five
can
or
they
eight to
do?
four, whatever it is. So what things can people do while they're at
Mhm.
the job to lift up their motivation, to be more energetic and to perform at a high
Absolutely.
level? What are some tips you have to help them?
I would say thinking about meditation. Meditation is a really simple, easy, it's a word that often scares people because I think we often immediately come to mind with someone just sitting in silence for 60 minutes and in their Zen headset. But in reality, meditation is just taking 5 to 10 minutes for yourself, or it can be, and quieting your mind and giving yourself that opportunity to set your mindset for the day. I use a free app called Headspace, and I do a 5-minute meditation in the morning when I first wake up. I like my job, which is helpful, but maybe I like my job because I'm meditating.
Right.
Um, it gives you that opportunity to set your intention for the day. Maybe your intention for the day is something that you need to accomplish at work. Maybe it has nothing to do with work, but taking those 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. Again, you might have to set your alarm a little bit earlier, but in reality, we have time for the things that we make a priority for. As somebody who is super busy and constantly like changing diapers and putting pants on people and running out the door and all the time, I get it. If when someone says you make time for the things that you value, it makes me angry, and it makes me angry because it's true. So taking those 5 to 10 minutes for yourself before the kids get up, before your partner gets up, before you have to start commuting into work, maybe even before your cup of coffee, and using that free app if you're not comfortable, and just setting your mindset for the day is really helpful. I would also say, for me, one of the most powerful things I've ever done to really shift my mindset is to have kept a gratitude journal. So I think of 3 things throughout the day that I'm going to choose to see in a positive light. And that can be really hard sometimes. I try to see 3 things in the morning and then 3 things in the evening, that I'm grateful for. It could be something as small as the fact that I have a job, and that I have a job that is contributing to my health care. I have a job that provides health care for my family. I have a job that um, lets us have heat on in the house, small things like that. I sometimes make it more specific. If I'm dealing with a toxic person at work, I try to be grateful for the opportunity to learn. I had a great mentor in my job that told me that every single day is a leadership lesson, and you just have to find what that lesson is. And so I try to be grateful for those leadership lessons every day, whether they're painful to go through or not. And having those moments of gratitude throughout the day can really help shift your mindset from I have to be here, I have to be with these toxic people, I have to do this work, as more of a shift of I get to. I get to be here. I get to be employed. I get to learn how I don't want to act professionally from others. I get to learn how to better create a work-life balance. Just changing those small things from I have to I get to, and trying to write down 3 things of gratitude each day. I would also say to learn to say no, which is something that is so hypocritical for me to say because I can't say no. I don't say no to anything. Like, do you want me to work another job? I'd love to. So learning to say no at work in a place where you feel not just empowered by it, but you feel like it's benefiting your goals. So oftentimes we stretch ourselves so thin at work, we're trying to go a mile wide and an inch deep. Being able to say no so that you can focus on your priorities and maybe do something maybe smaller in scale, but really well. So finding those opportunities and areas in your work that you do thrive in, and then protecting them, whatever that might look like, by saying no. And the last thing I will say is try the best that you possibly can to limit your interactions with toxic people at work. We all know them. They are the people who, when you talk to them, sometimes they're called emotional vampires. You talk to them and they're just everything. Oh, this is what happened over the weekend, and there's never an equal exchange. It's just you absorbing whatever negativity that they have to give at that time. They are using you to process, or maybe they're just an unpleasant person. The most that you can, because I know we can't just put a bubble around ourselves and say, I'm not working with you, but the most you can possibly do to limit your interactions with them. I have found so much power in the strength of not returning an email. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I've received some emails where I think, oh, are you serious right now? And then I get mad, and then I've got all my draft is ready to go. But when you take a step back and you think, you know what, I don't have to respond to this. I don't have to give that emotional energy to this, and not responding, or maybe walking over and talking in person. That can often de-escalate a situation. I will recommend a book that has helped me greatly for stress at work. And
Okay.
that is a book called Fierce Conversations.
Fierce
Um,
conversations. Okay.
it is phenomenal, and it's been really helpful, not just in work. It was originally written for work situations, but you can use it in your personal life too, for when you have to have those conversations that maybe you don't want to have, but are necessary for you to release that stress to actually find happiness or gratitude in where you are.
Okay, great tips. Let me just summarize this before I
Please, I know
forget.
I talk a
So,
lot. I'm a
so,
teacher. I'm
so,
sorry.
so a person who's struggling in their job, coping with stress, or just coping
Mm-hmm.
with being there because they hate their job. So the first thing you say, meditate is one.
Yep,
Do a gratitude journal. Uh,
absolutely.
Try to eliminate your interaction with the toxic people if you can,
Mhm.
because sometimes it
Yep.
could be your boss, you know,
Yes, it can.
right? And then um, it's okay to say no.
Yes, it
So I
is.
think these are excellent tips.
Oh,
Great tips.
good.
All right, so we only got a few minutes left. So the next question I have, so
Hmm.
you're you're a busy professional, you're a fitness
Correct.
instructor, you're a mom of two, so
Yep.
your schedule is probably crazy, and I know you
Hmm.
get extremely stressed. So what tips would you give someone who's trying to fit exercise into their busy schedule? Maybe you can talk about how you do it.
Absolutely. So uh, I've talked about this before, but something that really resonated with me is that you have friends, family, job, fitness, and sleep, and you get to choose three. There's going to be three things that you're going to be good at, and they can change throughout different times in your life.
Right.
But rather than what I was saying before, a mile wide and an inch deep, being okay with choosing three that you're going to prioritize. It obviously means the other things don't happen, but for me, I have chosen at the moment, I am doing fitness, job, and family. Those are my three. Fitness is one of mine because it's a major stress reliever for me and it's a happy place. I love
Mhm.
it so much. And I realize that that's not the same for everybody. My husband, it is not one of his top three. He's like, can we just stop doing this right now? And that's fine. He loves sleep, which is great. Um, so we're balancing each other. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
But choosing those three and committing to it, and of course we're going to choose fitness whether we want to or not, because it's what makes everything else possible. We can't see our friends or our family if we're unhealthy. We're going to sleep better if we are exercising and eating well. We're going to perform better at our job if we are keeping in good shape. So it's kind of a trick question when you're choosing your three, because that one fitness one, that's a through line between all of them. For me, because fitness is one of my priorities, I put my time and energy and money into it. So, for example, I will do things like buy pre-chopped vegetables so it makes making a healthier dinner easier. I will sometimes buy food, go out to eat, but I go out to eat in healthy places. Like I'll let myself splurge and go to Sweet Green because I love Sweet Green, or
mhm.
South Block or something like that, where I know I'm not going to go home and make myself a really healthy smoothie, but I'm going to go buy it from there. So I put money toward it. The people who are listening on your I'm going to call it a podcast. It's not really a
The
podcast.
virtual coaching program, or
Your
yes, or
virtual summit,
yeah,
they are prioritizing fitness right now. They're taking the
yeah.
time, they're taking the money. The people who work with you, they are clearly putting fitness as a priority. The people who buy your book, because they're saying this is something I'm going to commit time, money, and energy to. So they're people who see that through line through everything. It might sound silly, but I have started a rule at work, which is I will not eat anything that is free. And it sounds so ridiculous. It sounds so ridiculous, but because
That's a
here's the thing,
great one.
it is a good one, but I love cake and I will eat
Yes,
that and I have no problem with that. And that's cool. I'm not somebody who like
right.
eliminates that from my diet, but when I go in and it's like someone's birthday and like the
Uh-huh.
cake's not even that good, but I'm eating it
Right.
because it's free.
Free,
And I have a
exactly.
couple bites. I'm like, why am I eating this? Because it's free. What am I? I'm 37. I can buy my
Right.
own cake. Like,
Yeah,
right? Like buy a good piece of cake. Don't eat the free
exactly.
cake. right? So
Yes, the free stuff is always usually fattening.
it's the free stuff that doesn't even taste that good. That's not it,
Uh-huh.
right? But you're eating it because it's free. Like you have FOMO, the fear of missing out because everyone else is
Yes.
eating cake. But I go and I say happy birthday and I give them a hug and then I go back and I do my stuff and then maybe that night like I go buy a real nice cupcake, but I
There you
enjoy
go.
that cupcake. Not free, I paid for it, so you know I'm going to
Right.
enjoy it. And I would also say don't feel selfish in taking the time.
Yes.
So something that I have been doing in the past month is I started a regular yoga practice. I joined a yoga studio and I've been going almost every single day. And I can't even tell you the health and mindset benefits that have come from it. I used to have tightness in my back. I went to a chiropractor. It's gone. Just, it's incredible. So my point behind it is that it was really difficult for me to make that decision because the classes are at 7 p.m., which means I put my son to bed and then I give my daughter a kiss goodnight. My husband puts her to bed while I'm at class and then I come back and I give her a kiss when I get home. But I have to realize that it makes me a better mom. It makes me a better wife. It makes me a better friend, a better employee because I'm taking that time for myself. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm putting my time where my mouth is. Everything, it affects everything in my life positively. So don't feel selfish for taking time for yourself. Put your money where your mouth is. You know, if that is one of your top 3 things, which it should be, commit your time and money and energy to it. It'll be worth it. And then don't eat the free stuff. It's not worth it. You know, make
Yes.
it something good that you earn, that you want, that's going to make you
Yes.
feel satisfied. Don't eat
Yes.
Karen's free birthday cake because it's not going to taste that good. Those are my
Right.
3 tips.
Well, great tips, Dr. Misselli. Well, we're out
Thanks.
of time.
I know
So
I
first,
talked a lot. I'm sorry.
well, no, this is great. This was the whole point. But I
Okay, good.
just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us about this. This was a subject
Absolutely.
that I'm hit with and that I see all the time with my clients.
Yeah.
But you don't know this, but you're going to be a part of my virtual coaching program in 2020. I hope you're okay with
Perfect. You know I can't say no.
that. All right. Well, thank you, Meg, for doing this again. I know it's early in the morning, like
It's
6:30,
all good. Everyone's asleep. That's the beauty
right?
of it.
On a Sunday at that.
I know. I know.
All right. So anyway, thank you once again for doing this, and we will talk to soon. So have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Walter. Bye.
Bye.